Blog Talk Radio.
Transition Radio, live from Hollywood, Florida. Brought to you by Mark Angelo and Jessica Lynn Cummings. A show for trans folks, by trans folks, bringing you LGBT news from across the world. Great interviews, stories, and a chance to hear your voice. Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Transition Radio, live from Hollywood, Florida. Got a couple of days off. We've missed you. There is a full moon out in the air, and I sure as heck feel it. I hope everyone's doing great. Tonight's show is going to be covering a couple of very important events and also bring back some memories of some very special trans folks who took their own lives due to the fact of prejudice within our own community. Something that really kills me. I don't seem to understand how an individual or a group of individuals that has suffered so much to turn around and make others suffer to the point where they kill themselves. This special someone is called Sarah. She hung herself back in April 17, 2008, because an elite group from the Benjamin group, yes, said she wasn't trans enough, and that's the topic of our show. Are you trans enough? You have to realize that being transgender is a very big umbrella, and there is no one that's more trans than another. We all have different self-expression, and I believe that we are here to show the world our differences and to realize that we're not cookie-cutter routines, we're not just male, we're not just female. We are spirit living in a human body, learning and growing at each passing day. I hope you guys have had a great weekend and had time to reflect every day in your life. Spirituality is something that's very important to me and has been part of my life since I was a child. And I believe that this transgender feeling that I've had inside of me has been with me ever since I was a child, and it's spirit trying to recreate itself through me. I remember as a kid I used to go back and forth feeling the feminine energy as well as the masculine energy, and never quite understood why that was. It took me many years in my evolution to this day to realize that I am a proud transgender person. The genitals are but deceiving, and that there is more to us than just tits and, the stuff that goes below. So how are you doing this evening, my lovely Jessica?
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read an article, just a little something that is not going to look too good on the trans community, but this story actually comes from an article about a federal judge that recently court-ordered SRS for a transgender inmate that was convicted of murdering their wife in 1990. This person received life in prison without the possibility for parole. So I'm going to read this article exactly as it was written. A federal judge on Tuesday ordered state prison officials to provide a taxpayer-funded sex reassignment surgery to a transgender inmate serving life in prison for murder. U.S. District Judge Mark Wolf ruled in the case of Michelle Koselet, who was actually born a male, but has received hormone treatments and lives as a woman in an all-male prison. A lot of them probably have heard this story already, but this is the update on that. Robert Koselet was convicted of murder and the killing of his wife in 1990. What was believed to be the first federal judge to order prison officials to provide the surgery for a transgender inmate. Koselet first sued the Massachusetts Department of Corrections 12 years ago. 2 years later, Wolf ruled that Koselet was entitled to treatment for gender identity disorder, but stopped short of ordering surgery. Koselet sued again in 2005, arguing that the surgery is a medical necessity. Okay, we have a caller, so I'm going to interrupt it for a minute. Let's take the call and see who's calling in.
Okay, caller number one. Let us know where you're calling from, your name, and if you have any particular questions or just say what's on your mind. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, are you there?
Oh, yes. I was on hold listening to the program. I did not press 1. Okay. I was going to continue listening to your story. I figured this was the only way that I could since my computer is acting up right now. So, at this moment, I can't think of anything to say at the moment, so.
Okay, so I'll continue reading, and then if you got something to interject on the situation, feel free.
Okay.
So basically, Classic sued again in 2005, arguing that the surgery is a medical necessity. In his ruling on Tuesday, Wolf found that the surgery is the only adequate treatment for Classic's serious medical need. The court finds that there is no less intrusive means to correct the prolonged violation of Classic's Eighth Amendment right to adequate medical care. Wolf wrote in his 126-page ruling. Prison officials have repeatedly cited security risks in the case, saying that allowing her to have the surgery would make her a target for sexual assaults by other inmates. But Wolf found that the DOC's security concerns are either pretextual or can be dealt with by the DOC. He said it is up to prison officials to decide how and where to house Kosovo after the surgery. Now, this is a big problem for us in the transgender community, and I find it very hard to comprehend that a federal judge can see this as a medical necessity for a convicted killer, but a law-abiding citizen has to be put through the ringer. Where local or county judges deem it necessary to put a lot of us through embarrassing turmoil just to grant a name change. All the paperwork, we got to submit it to the clerk of court, et cetera, and so on. And it puts us at the mercy of the judicial system so that we can live and function in society as the one we are if you're an FTF. And, but hey, you kill someone and you get your SRS paid for by tax dollars. How does that make us look? It doesn't make sense to me.
And to me, the whole concept of... Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, very true. I totally agree with what you're saying right now. That's ridiculous. She said my words exactly.
It's crazy, and one of my biggest pet peeve is I believe we're tremendous spirit being enlightened and evolving with Mother Earth, and to me, to be placed in a box of being either male or female is almost ludicrous. We're only trying to be the same as the little beings in this world that live in this so-called matrix, and I believe we have a responsibility to enlighten the world that there are differences, that we don't all have to fit in a little box. We've been around for many, 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 many centuries. We were shamans, healers, teachers. They used to look up to us in the tribe. We have a proud history, and I believe the spirit is speaking up right now, and that's why there is so many of us coming forward, like an evolution of the transgender souls. And we are two spirits, and we are beautiful human beings, and we just shine, and not just try to blend in. And sometimes Jessica and I get into a little bit of a disagreement because of this, and I've gone to disagreement with my other fellow trans men and women that, what would it be all about? Just to get our surgeries, blend in, and do what? We are here for a reason. And what do you think about that?
Yeah, I believe, it's like I don't know who, was it you or Jessica who posted this question, are you trans enough? Is there such thing as being trans enough? When I first joined trans community, TQ Nation, I saw the way people were attacking one another on the forums, saying things like, "Oh, you're not binary enough. You're not masculine. You're not feminine enough." It's like, what? Who says we need to blend in and be as binary as we can be? Some of us aren't binary. Some of us don't fit in gender binary, and some of us are embracing the fact that, it's okay. It's okay to fit in.
Yeah, and that's my point exactly. If we were born this way for a reason, not just to go through all these dangerous and painful procedures just to blend in. I think we're a beautiful species that are here to show humanity many things that they are failing to see. And, you know, what does the term transgender mean to an individual? You know, just someone who does not identify with their birth gender. You know, there are many, many labels, and there's a huge umbrella, you know, from transgender.
Oh, it is a huge umbrella, and people tend to just they feel that they have to simplify it to that meaning. And yeah, maybe it is simply that for some people, but for other people, it's so much. There's so much more to it, you know.
Exactly. Well, you know, a lot of us in you know, the transsexual community, transgender community, you know, we basically, it's a lot about self-pity and, you know, everything that we've gone through in life. And, you know, I mean, if you look back on the past and all the things that went wrong in your life, it's going to be nothing but you're going to carry it into the future. I put a post up on my personal page today, and I'm going to go ahead and read it. I was just wondering what you would do if you were blind and could not see. Would you worry about how you looked? If you were deaf, would you still need to hear the words of encouragement? If you could not speak, would you complain? And even then, would anyone hear your words of self-sorrow? These are just a few of the precious gifts in life that we are given, and yet a lot of us take these gifts for granted. There is more people struggling with issues of values than those of us with our beauty complexes and searches for pity. But yet we still want the world to feel sorry for us. Get over yourself, stand up, walk tall, and be thankful you're able to see your progress, that you're able to hear people encouraging you, and that your voice can be heard. Enjoy life and the small things that come with it. And that's a direct quotation from me, because, you know, there's so many people out there dealing with so many other atrocities in their lives and disabilities and problems. And here you hear somebody complaining, I can't get SRS. Well, you know, which brings me to another question. Is SRS that important to make you feel like more of that gender that you're looking, that you feel that you are? And that goal that you're trying to reach? Absolutely not. I mean, I've done research on what MPS look like after the surgery. It's not pretty, and I'm not impressed. You know, if you want to try to go stealth, stealth is very dangerous, because that goes to show that you're out for deceit, that you're not going to tell the person that you're going to possibly be engaged with maybe a possible date, sexual activity. So now you're trying to hide the fact that you were born a male or a female. At some point it's going to come out in the open. And we need to realize this, that no matter how passable you are, no matter how good you look, how bad you look, whatever the case is, no matter how you try to hide it, how much surgery you have, it's not going to make a difference, because I can guarantee you that with what I've seen as far as the outcomes of SRS and MPS with the SRS, that any guy that goes with an MPF and she tries to be stealth, he's going to know. And it's neither here nor there.
This is beyond sex reassignment surgery. This is beyond cosmetic. This is self-expression of the spirit, of the soul. And when we start realizing this, then that's when we really, as a community, start to grow and stop picking on one another and stop trying to make one another feel bad because one has the breast job and the other one has not, or one had the metatoplasty or the phalloplasty or vasectomy or whatever you guys.
But that
thing. Let me try to stop that. Yeah, it's not a
pregnant vagina and pregnant penis. That's what we turn into.
It's almost like we've forgotten. We've lost track of the main purpose of these surgeries. I mean, these surgeries, they're there to help you be more comfortable with yourself. You shouldn't feel pressured to, you know, go through these surgeries. If that's not right for you, that's not right for you. You know.
But see, that's the problem. Society. What society has done is it pushes us into mutilating our bodies to feel like, you know, where we want to be. And it's not necessary, because who sees in my panties? Not one single person that I don't want to. So how do they know what I have between my legs?
And genitals don't determine if you're a man or a woman.
Correct.
I have to take my hat off to Buck Angel, who started doing porn and started realizing that he's as much a man as any other man. Just because he has a vagina or what he calls a vagina doesn't make him any less of a man. I mean, energy is masculine and it's feminine. It's ever flowing, ever changing. We try to put things in a box, and things in a box never really come out to be anything good in the long run, because we're constantly battling one another. But, there are forces out there that if they divide, they conquer. And they're always going to get people to fight one another so that they can always have the lead and have the control. And we have to realize, and for the future trans generation, it's about self-expression. It's about being that creator God that we are, expressing and feeling good within ourselves and loving one another and accepting one another and accepting oneself, because that is basically what we're here to do on this big blue planet.
Exactly. And we are angelic beings. If you go back even in religion with the Bible, it even says angels were non-gender conforming. Okay? They had no specified gender. They were androgynous, and they could shapeshift and they could be any gender they wanted to be. It was merely the spirit. But to come down and pass on a message, they had certain avenues that they could be this for this certain message or this for that certain message. So, in reality, the duality that's within us makes us very angelic, and that's what a lot of us tend to not really see, and that's a bad thing. It makes us get down on ourselves, and that's what causes a lot of the depression, and it shouldn't be that way. You should be happy where you're at, no matter where that is. And wherever you're capable of getting to, that would be...
and then we realize the numbers are growing. I used to quote back in the day, 1 out of 80 infant was born with some sort of transgender anomaly, and it's part of the evolution of mankind, that this binary put in a box type of gender doesn't exist. We are an expression of something that's divine, and the spirit is speaking through us, and we should run with this, not try to hide or blend, because that's only creating more and more problems and more hatred amongst one another and amongst society in general. Do you have anything to add about that? Zizi.
Oh.
Are you there? Yeah.
Sorry, I lost the connection. No. Oh, this is terrible. This is making you guys look terrible. I'm sorry.
No, it's great to hear your input and to hear how you feel about the concept of things as well. Basically, it's...
Let me ask you this. Do you feel pressure by the community, and I'm sure you would TQ Nation or any other groups in it?
Very, very early on, when I started really trying to figure myself out, on this journey we call transition, I often wondered if, checking out that community, I often wondered if I even belonged there, but something kept telling me, okay, these feelings are real, I do feel this way, and although people may not understand me, I know there's got to be people out there that, see things the way I do. I'm willing to agree to disagree, and, why can't other people do the same?
It's pretty sad, and again, as I mentioned earlier, how that girl committed suicide because the group of individuals pretty much showed that she wasn't trans enough and that she was some sort of fetish, and I believe it's such a big umbrella from gender bender to dual gender to cross-dresser to transvestite, intersex, gender queer. Even our brothers and sisters in the gay and lesbian community, they are part of that self-expression. It's a beautiful thing, and we shouldn't be forced to be put in a box. We shouldn't be forced to be like everybody else. It's the beauty of, if you look at nature, no two trees are alike. They all have their self-expression. You look at animals, they don't sit there and point fingers at one another. Oh, you don't have as many stripes as I do. They just coexist and respect one another, and that's what we need to start learning how to do. It's bad enough that we get ridiculed by the religious sector, by other groups, but when we start ridiculing one another, then that's sad because, to me, we're all brothers and sisters, and we should help one another and promote one another and support one another in every which way possible, not judge one another and ridicule the way I've seen it in many, many groups.
True.
And nature alone, there's many anomalies that are hermaphroditic in nature and transgender in nature, just alone. I mean, look at the seahorse, for instance, okay? The male gives birth to the young. It's not the other way around. So,
True.
I mean, that's one of the only creatures that actually has a male specimen that gives birth to the young. So, I mean, and then you got many plants that are hermaphroditic, that aren't neither male nor female. They can self-fertilize. They can self-pollinate. They can do everything that they need to do to blossom. This is all means of duality. And being transgender, that's who we are. And, we're no different than God of nature. We are Mother Nature's creation, and we are angelic beings, and that's how we need to see it.
I have a tattoo on my back that I got on Miami Ink from the Rossi fish. And this fish starts out being a female, and if it sees that the male community is decreased, the female fish will become a male so that they can help with the reproduction or create more male species. And you see it in nature, they'll give one hand to the other, but human beings, we want to destroy one another, we want to ridicule. And I think it's time for the evolution, it's time for the change that's taking place for us to wake up, rise up to the occasion and realize, we are not the enemy. We need to realize that together we could conquer all. Separated, we're not going to get very far. We like for more callers to call in, 646-716-6895 with your questions, your input. What do you think about the question? Are you trans enough? Anyone else out there?
Is there such thing as trans?
Exactly. So how are things going with you, CC, in your transition?
Wait, what did you say?
How are things going with you in your transition? Your hormones.
Things are going smoothly. I'm going at my own pace. I'm doing what feels right, and I'm not being pressured to do anything I'm not ready to do or not willing to do. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm taking the good with the bad, It's
we got another caller coming in. I'm going to put you on hold.
Okay,
1 second. Caller number 2.
Hey, Jess and Mark. It's Jackie.
Hey, Jackie.
Hey, Jackie. How are you, honey?
Good, sis. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
I was just listening to y'all, and, it's a question you and I have talked about a lot here, this one y'all bring up.
Yes. Yeah, we have.
And because of where I am in life and, as far as my balance, but the hate within the community is so wrong. I mean, I agree with what y'all are saying.
Most definitely, it's too commonplace. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about you and what your situation is?
Well, I mean, me, I'm really at a point that I found a balance with my life, as you know. I'm lucky, as you've told me before, that I have found this balance with my life. But I mean, I would say to say I'm just part-time would be wrong, or to say I'm just a cross-dresser would be wrong, because, I mean, I probably spend 50% of my life, as a woman, but also another 50% as male. And so,
That's fine. And you're balanced with your duality. And
that's perfect.
That's a lot of things that a lot of us have trouble dealing with. And being transgender. And so, I mean, it's great.
Go ahead.
No, like I said, you and I have talked about it before. I mean, I'm lucky that I have found that balance, and that so many of the ones that are like more like you or Mark, I mean, you and accepting, but then there's so many within the community that still, like y'all were talking about, some of them are, well, you're not enough, or you're, I mean, I see it when I go out sometimes, that there's people that still look down upon us, and it shouldn't be that way. I mean, we all need to be, like y'all say, brothers and sisters in this.
Exactly.
I think we would get a lot stronger as a group and be heard more if we were accepting. The whole division is what's killing us.
Right. People see a war amongst the community itself, and it's like, we got to get along, and the only way we can build ourselves to get the support that we require is in numbers and to stick together. And that's where we need to stop the division. We need to stop dividing ourselves. Oh, okay, I'm further along than you, so I don't want to talk to you. It's like, what the hell good is that? It's everybody. We all go through the same issues. We all go through the same doubts, the same denial, everything.
It's about respect, too. It's about respecting one another and realizing, we all have different journeys, and that's okay. It's beautiful because, that's the beauty of life, self-expression.
And I agree with both y'all on that. I mean, it is, and if the others would just, and it's from all sides, whether they be people that are, like y'all were talking about earlier. Some people look at, well, you're not trans enough because it's just a fetish thing. Well, no, it's not, because is like Jess knows from me and her talking and knowing each other for years. I mean, for me, it's not a fetish thing. It's part of who I am. But like she says, I've got to an area at that duality in life that I've accepted it, and I handle it the way I handle it. But at the same time, I respect her or you, Mark, or for going, because y'all are a little bit beyond that point of where I am and making that journey.
Right, and the whole thing is, you've seen the trials and tribulations that I've dealt with in my transition over the past 5 years, because we've known each other for years, and you've seen a lot of my ups and downs and this, that, the other, and we all go through it. And even you, in your situation where you stand, you go through the same things that I did.
And as far as I've come along in that transition over 9 years, I look today and I think to myself, not that I regret what I've done, but it's like, did I really have to go through everything? I've kind of killed the self-expression of who I am. And that's why I'm very pro being where you need to be. The surgeries are not needed. The hormones either. I mean, we're putting ourselves in all sorts of danger to try to fit in. And my message to the world is just don't blend in. Be yourself. You're a beautiful expression of who you are. And there's no competition. And there's no comparison. It's just we're where we need to be. And to me, the bottom, love and expression. We have a minute and 27 seconds left of the show. Cece, anything else you wanted to add?
I can't think of anything else. You pretty much, we're on the same wavelength, man. This is really cool. You pretty much said everything.
How about you, Jack?
No, y'all. I mean, I just called it. I know it was tight on time and everything. So, but it's great that y'all are doing this show. Let me just say that, as a final thing for me, and I love y'all and who y'all are. It's a great thing.
Thank you. Thank you for your support and for listening.
And thank you. Keep listening.
All right, guys. All right. I'm going to end it with a song that I wrote for my mother. It's kind of funny, so I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you guys tomorrow night, same time, same station. I can't even speak. I had a couple of glasses of wine. There's a full moon. There you go. And the song's called Mother. And love you guys, but remember to love yourselves too. Oh yeah, Mama, this song's for you.
Yes, I love this song.
She held me in her arms that Sunday morning, 30th, 1964. She smiled and held my hand just for a moment. She knew I would be special to this world. I was her first, her pride, and her possession. She carried me 9 months inside her womb. The closeness that a daughter and her mother experienced was unexplainable. Mother, dear mother, I didn't mean to change all of your plans. Mother, dear loving mother, your girl turned out to be a loving man. She blessed the day her firstborn came to this world. She couldn't wait to see me develop. She knew I was a blessing from the get-go, but didn't know that life had other plans. No, she didn't. Mother, dear mother, I didn't mean to change all of your plans. Mother, dear loving mother, the girl turned out to be a loving man. She cared for me and gave me all the good things. New dresses that were tailored just for me. She wanted such a prim and proper princess. Instead she got a tomboy look at me. Oh, mother, dear mother, I didn't mean to spoil all of your plans. Mother, dear loving mother, your girl turned out to be a loving man. I came out during high school as a lesbian. My mother nearly had a heart attack. But little did she know that worse was coming. Well, later changed my sex into a man. Oh, mother, dear mother, I didn't mean to spoil all of your plans. Mother, dear loving mother, the girl turned out to be a loving man. Well, the doctors made an error on the calling. My genitals didn't match my brain. I'm sorry for the heartache and confusion, but thank you for accepting me today. Oh, mother, dear mother, I didn't mean to change all of your plans. Mother, dear loving mother, your girl turned out to be a loving man. Your girl turned out to be a loving man. What was that? Your girl turned out to be a loving man. Hi, Mama. Mommy, it's alright. Boy or girl, I love you.